The classified ad rapist, and these are the murders of Michelle Denise Sims, Elizabeth Ludenbeck, and Vicky Elliott. 14 days after he had killed Lana Long, Bobby Joe murdered 22-year-old Michelle Denise Sims, a former California beauty contestant turned prostitute. Once stopped by Bobby Joe while working the Tampa streets, Bobby Joe enticed her into the car and then drove her to Park Road, a sort of lover's lane. Bobby Joe pounced on Michelle, tied her hands behind her back, and then used a length of rope to fashion a noose that was placed around the victim's neck. Bobby Joe raped Michelle and then threw her nude body out of the car, but Michelle wasn't dead. Much of Bobby Joe's charge, Michelle was a fighter. Despite her predicament, Michelle kept fighting her attacker. Bobby Joe tried to strangle her. When that didn't work, he stabbed her again and again. When police found Michelle's corpse, they noted that her eyeballs were bloated with blood. Unlike any of his other previous victims, 22-year-old Elizabeth Loudenbeck was a factory worker, shy and bespectacled. Elizabeth was last seen alive Thursday, June 7, 1984. Her last known moments on Earth saw her leave the village mobile home park where Elizabeth lived with her mother and stepfather, sister, and brother. Elizabeth did not have any kind of criminal history and was not known to have any connections with the sex industry at all. Sadly, none of that mattered. On Sunday, June 24, 1984, Elizabeth's body was found in an orange grove. Bobby Joe would later admit that he had let Elizabeth go after brutally raping her twice. He wound up killing her, he said, because she wouldn't stop crying. After the dark deed was done, Long stole one of Elizabeth's ATM cards and withdrew money from several different banks. 21-year-old Vicky Elliott was the manager of a Tampa Ramada's Inn coffee shop when Bobby Joe Long came into her world September 7th, 1984. After the usual diligent, Elliott failed to show up for work. Police searched her apartment. They found an airline ticket to Muskegon, Michigan, where that was her hometown and the place where her parents still lived. Elliott would not be seen again until September 23rd, 1984. That was a Sunday. Her body was found floating in a Florida river. An autopsy showed that not only was Vicky's killer had broken her hyoid bone, but he had also inserted a pair of scissors into her nether regions.